What's up, everyone? Welcome to Danger Talk. This is Russell Wilson, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks. I'm fired up because we're here. We're about to start week 1 of the 2020 season, and we're here with Danger Talk Season 1, Episode 1, and we have a special guest. But I got to introduce you guys to my co-host, the one and only Jeff Dye, comedian, hilarious, funny, got tons of nicknames and more. But Jeff Dye, what's up, bud? You ready for this?
I live from my kitchen. You're in your. Is this what room of your house?
This is my studio here. We got a studio at home, so we're ready to roll. Yeah. Well,
are you enjoying your pandy? This is my first ever pandy, and it's been wild.
Pandy, I'm assuming, is that 2020 pandemic we're going in.
Yeah, dude, it's big, but I try to make it sound cute, you know.
Am I enjoying it? No. Am I living through it? Yes. Am I making it? Yes. I'm getting COVID tested every day. But, we're excited because the NFL season's starting on. We got the NFL bubble going on, quote unquote. You got the NBA bubble going on. All this stuff's going on. I'm getting tested every day on COVID tests. And we got to travel across the country this week. The first NFL game is Patrick Mahomes, where's Deshaun Watson coming up. It's an interesting year. It's been a tough year for everyone. And so we're excited to have a special guest, a special season for you guys to have intimate conversations with our star-studded lineup of guests and everything else. And I'm fired up about it. Jeff, I mean, I know you've been doing so many different things and staying busy too as well. So it's good to have you on the show too, man.
It's going to be awesome. So walk us through. I think we only see what you put on your social media, and people obviously get to, if they're in your inner circle, they see your life. But what is it like? Is any of your training right now different than the other seasons, or is it pretty standard still?
You've had to strategize, honestly, because you can't have too many people around. So my season's changed a lot because for me, I wasn't really able to spend all the time early on, with throwing with a lot of receivers and stuff. So we had to get guys tested, have them come in one-on-one sessions. And normally I throw in a big groups and we have all the guys fly to Hawaii or go to LA or go to San Diego or wherever we go. And that's definitely changed. But, for me, my mentality hasn't changed. If the only thing, it's enhanced and gotten even more focused because, it's all the circumstances around you have to get you, force you to get prepared. And so I'm definitely prepared. I'm excited about this week coming up. Like I said.
So Seahawks fans don't have to be nervous. We don't have to be worried.
Seahawks fans don't ever have to be nervous. I know they get nervous in the first, second, and third quarters, but the fourth quarter, they don't have to be nervous. This is the fourth quarter of the 2020 season, hopefully. So hopefully we play our best.
So how are you preparing to play without fans? I mean, there's going to be no one out there. You don't have the 12th man on your side. You don't have all the loud chatter. You don't have any of the defensive, flags on your side. I mean, what are you doing? How are you going to prepare for that?
For me, I don't prepare any different. Football is football. When the ball is snapped, we go play ball. It's time to show up, show out. I think the thing that's different though is you get that energy from the fans, and you like seeing people. They're rocking your jersey, they're rocking the 12 jersey, they're rocking whatever. They got their face painted. All the different crazy things that happen. People are throwing stuff at you and all this stuff and yelling at you. I feed off of that. But also, to me, if you're preparing like a champion every day, if you're a professional, it shouldn't affect you. The thing that's going to be interesting, though, more than anything else, is going to each stadium and listening to the crowd noise, because they're going to have this pumping this fake noise. And for Seattle, for example, when people come to us, it's real noise and it causes our earthquakes. And so what's to me interesting is when we go on the road and some of these other stadiums that we talk about decimal points, right? We've had to practice. We had to scrimmage, and we practiced at 100 decimal points. We practiced at 85. We practiced at 75. All the in betweens, and some of these stadiums some of them aren't even at 60 decimal points most of the game. So it'll be interesting, and so it'll be interesting to see how the stadiums and how each team does their crowd noise and all that. But for me, it's about winning. It's about coming home, flying back home, and hopping on that plane, hopefully with a W. And there's a lot of great teams. We got a tough season ahead of us.
In Seattle, we feel like we're part of it. We feel like because we're so loud, we brag about how loud we are, and we get to be the 12th man. So it feels weird not being able to be there and be rowdy. It's kind of like church for a lot of people. You get up on Sunday, you put on your thing, you go to the game. So it's going to be weird.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts about going to an away game is watching the tailgating. You know, I just love to see people tailgating as your bus is pulling up. So I'll be interested to see as we're going to these away games if people are still tailgating, because I think these fans don't care. I think they'll be out there, you know, maybe mask on, maybe not, but they're going to be out there cheering their team on and talking trash, and it'll be interesting to see that part of it too. So Jeff, listen there. I think we should bring in our very first guest of the season 1, episode 1. We're about to start the 2020 NFL season. NBA bubbles going on, playoffs, everything else. We got no greater guest than the one we have right here. He's everything you want. Jeff, you want to call him in?
I'll bring him in.
Let's do it.
I think it's time. We bring in our guest. Super excited you got this. He didn't agree to be on this because of me. He agreed to be on this because of you, Russell Wilson. But it's exciting, man. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Superman, the Big Aristotle, the Big Shamrock, the Chamberneezy, the Diesel, Big Shaqtus, Shaq Fu, Shaq Daddy, Hobo Master, the Big Deporter, Shaquille O'Neal. What's up, my man?
How are you, Justin Bieber? And,
I wish.
Beebs, I see you, Beebs. Listen, first of all, Shaq, it's great to have you on Danger Talk. It's season 1, episode 1. We're about to get into the 2020 season, and we got the guy with all the nicknames. You know, first of all, I got my own nicknames. I got Danger Russ over here. I got Mr. Unlimited. You got about 1 million over nicknames over there. Jeff Dye, do you have any nicknames?
My friends call me Jackpot because I'm very lucky, you know. So wherever we go, like a parking spot will open up, and they're like, "It's because we're with Jackpot." And in high school, they called me Dip. So that was kind of, you know, the teachers called me that.
They should probably call you that still. But that's all. Those are only 2 nicknames you got, Jeff.
That's it. I need to get some more. In fact, I think you need a nickname from Shaq. Shaq, you got a nickname for Russ we can use?
actually, Russ is already Dangerous is nice.
It's pretty good.
All right. Yeah, I like that for the 2020 season. If Shaq can give me Dangerous, I know he's given. I think you gave Paul Pierce the Truth. Is that right?
Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Big Ticket, Vince Carter, Air Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, then give me a nickname. I need a nickname, Shaq. Come on, man.
Bieber.
That's not a nickname. That's just all right. I'll take it. Whatever.
Bieber.
So I wanted to ask you a question. I get so for me, like I once met you at the Playboy Mansion in like 2008, and I was very like starstruck. I was like Shaquille O'Neal, right? First time I met Russ, I was very starstruck. I was working with Sierra on a show, and I met Russ, and I was very starstruck. Who's your guy? Like, who's someone you meet where you're like, oh my gosh, that's my person that's starstruck?
Everybody.
Really?
Yes. And even though I'm Shaq, I'm still just like everybody else. Like, for example, I'm talking to one of my favorite quarterbacks.
There you go.
Well, listen, first of all, Shaq, I grew up watching you playing ball, slam dunking, breaking glass. But yeah. I'm not sure if people know this story. So when we won the Super Bowl, Jeff, I know you were there being a huge Seahawks fan. But when we won the Super Bowl in New York, MetLife Stadium, Shaq, you actually, I'm not sure if you remember this, but you actually came into my box, my family's box. And you met my mom, my sister, my brother, everybody, and you signed a jersey for my mom.
I know, I remember that. So, again, even though I'm Shaq, I'm still a fan. Like, when you don't feel like being Shaq and you want to watch good football, you're just a regular person.
I love that.
You know, like, when you don't feel like being Shaq and you want to listen to your favorite old R&B artist, you throw in some Sierra. You know, when you don't feel like being Shaq and you just want to watch other NBA games. So, even though I am who I am, I'm still humble enough to be able to love and respect other people. So thank you for bothering me on my day off. You know, usually I wouldn't do anything on my day off, but you know, I got a call my office. They said Russell Wilson. I said, the Russell Wilson, the Super Bowl champion, is married to Sierra Russell Wilson. Said, yeah, you want to do a podcast.
Exactly, married to Sierra. And speaking of that, that's when I first met Jeff Dye, ironically. Because he was on Sierra's show. You two on the same show together. What was that show called again?
It's called I Can Do That. And there's nothing more, like I have no rhythm, right? I can't dance. And we had to like work together we worked together for months, but I had to dance with Sierra on TV. And it was just so obvious how bad I am. It was very humiliating. And she can dance phenomenal. It was very embarrassing.
And now you see how I feel. That's why I don't do any end zone dance.
She said that you do have a pocket shuffle, though. I heard that.
Yeah, I got a little. Yeah, I got the pocket shuffle. Yeah. But,
Are we allowed to say bad words on this podcast?
Whatever you want.
oh yeah, Shaq. What have you got?
So playing in LA and playing in New York was always fabulous. But one day, Halle Berry's walking down the stairs.
Yeah.
And we called a timeout. I told everybody, I said, hey, Halle's at the game. Don't nobody shoot that motherfucker but me. That was one of my favorite moments. She was coming down and showing her.
What did Halle do when you were shooting your free throws, Shaq?
She made me shoot an air ball.
Oh man! So did you ever get the chance to talk to Halle Berry after the game?
No, not after the game, but I remember one time I was at the Four Seasons Hotel in an elevator by myself, and Halle Berry came to the elevator, and like my stuttering kicked in because I used to get stutter like when I was young, and I was like, and then the elevator ring ding, and then she got off, and I was like, I just blew my chest.
What year was this back in the day? This is when you were in LA, so 2000s?
Yeah, this got to be like 98, 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the elevator by myself. I think she was going upstairs to do like some movie junkets. And she walked in the elevator and my face just froze. And I was like, she was like, hello, you know, I was like,
well, that's what Jeff Dye does anytime he gets in an encounter with a woman. So
well,
he always
true,
freezes.
but also that kind of answers the question. There you go. You were starstruck by Halle Berry. You were like, Halle Berry is in the same elevator. That's the answer right there. What?
So
Question. I got a question for Russ. Russ, can you, off the top of your head, name every team Shaq played for in the NBA?
Ooh, good question. So yeah, he got drafted by Orlando Magic.
Okay.
Right, played there. Won Rookie of the Year, I believe. There. Also, then he went to LA. He went to LA. He went to LA.
Okay.
Played there. Then he played, dominated in LA. You know, him and Kobe did their thing, won the championships. Then he went to Miami Heat, I think, next.
Yes,
right?
correct.
He got his jersey actually retired by the Lakers and the Heat. I think he's one of the only few players to ever do that, which is fascinating itself. And then I think he had a stint, not a long one, for the Celtics. And I don't know why you went to Boston of all places. I have a certain feeling about Boston just in general. But anyways, we won't go there. But you went. So those are the four that I can remember. Is there somebody else I'm missing?
There's two other ones.
Two other ones. Dang, Shaq, you play on that many teams?
Well, here's the thing about Shaquille O'Neal that I love is that he's so likable that when LeBron just left one team, everyone was like they were crucified. Shaq would go to any team that had a great point guard, and we just love Shaq so much that we're like, hey, Shaq can play for all the teams.
Well, so what? Give me a hint. What part of the country was this?
Cleveland. You're missing.
That's
you went to Cleveland. You went to Cleveland.
Yeah, they had LeBron James.
Oh, that's right. How long were you there for? Just 1 year?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
A year and a half. What was Cleveland like?
Boring. B-O-R-I-N-G. Boring.
Yeah, that's good.
That's so good. I got a question for you. If you had to make a Mount Rushmore of your teammates, Shaq, who's the four, like your Mount Rushmore? Who's the four?
Penny, Kobe, D-Wade, and Big Shot Bob.
Big Shot Bob.
Big Shot Bob, he saved me. At least 2 out of 4 championships. Saved me.
No Verjao, huh?
No, hell no, never.
What about LeBron? You don't have LeBron on your floor?
Yeah, but I didn't play with LeBron long enough.
Yeah. So who was the player that you just hated playing against? I want to know who you hated playing against, because like I think about some of the guys I got to play against. I got to play against Aaron Donald twice a year. It's freaking terrible. So like who are the guys you hated playing against?
I hate playing against Hakeem Olajuwon because he had so many moves from each side, so it was really hard to scout for. Like all the Georgetown boys, fake left, go hard right. That's Alonzo, that's Dikembe, that's Patrick Ewing. They all did the same thing. All the other guys were pick and pop guys. Didn't really have to worry about them. But Hakeem, he just had so many moves on the block. And then David Robinson ran like a deer. So, so like if I went out the night before and had a good time and then try to wake up and run with him, it was going to be fun.
So he ran like a deer. What'd you run like, Shaq?
The young Shaq ran like a deer, but the old Shaq, I ran like a bull because I walked down.
You walked down the hill. Yes. I know the story.
Yeah.
Young bull versus old bull, huh?
That's right.
I've heard that story many times. My first couple of years in the NFL, and then talk to me about also too. You talk about some of these great players and people you had to play against. What about now when you view guys now? Like I think about somebody who runs like a deer, who's a bigger guy. Like Giannis, he's a massive dude. Like who do you see when you watch them play? Because when I watched you guys play back in the 90s, I mean, basketball was completely different. I felt like it was so physical. Everybody was so dominant on defense. I grew up near a guy named Ben Wallace. Remember Ben Wallace? He grew up in Richmond, Virginia. I got to see him a bunch play. But, when you watch guys today, are there any similarities to certain guys you watch today versus back then?
I know this is unfair to say, but I try to evaluate guys and say, could they play with us?
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of social media. He's great. He's the greatest. Nah, I'm looking at guys and saying, could he play with us?
Interesting.
Okay, you're a guard. Could you play with Jordan? Could you play with us? Listen, both games, football and basketball, gotten softer. I hate to say it. I know some people will be offended, but so I try not to throw out that he's great, he's great, he's great. Unless I say you could have played with Jordan. LeBron, KD, Steph definitely could have played with us.
Yeah.
Definitely could have played. Giannis definitely could have played there. So those guys are great. Kyrie, yes. But everybody else is there. He's going to be, I'm waiting. I got to wait. Like Zion's pretty good. John Morant's pretty good, but I just got to wait. Luka Doncic did his thing this year, but I just got to wait before I start throwing out props.
Yeah, you're one of those guys. I'm the same way in the sense that when I think about, I'm old school in my approach. So, to me, it's hard to just say a guy is going to be, a great player for a long time unless he does it, consistently. I think that's a big thing. The consistency of a player is true legacy, in my opinion. When I watch guys in other sports, baseball and football and basketball and even boxing, I think people get so addicted to the new flash of everything. But, how long can a guy last, which is exciting, and I think, as we think about the NBA, season and what's going on right now comparing to the NFL season and all that stuff too, with the NBA season, watching the bubble, how would you have felt going into this bubble thing? Because I'm thinking about us. We're about to start the season. We're going to start this season starting tomorrow, Thursday. We're the first game. It's Patrick Mahomes, but it's Deshaun Watson. It's this Sunday. I go against Matt Ryan. It's going to be a pretty interesting first week of the NFL. But as you watch the NBA season going on right now, the playoffs and all that, how would you have received and done that whole process? Do you think guys would have liked to do that for however many 60 days or however long they're locked up?
Do you guys have to play in a bubble also?
Well, our situation is a little bit different. So for us, for the Seahawks at least, we actually get to go home every night, but we're getting tested every single day. And everybody, there's tier ones, there's tier twos, tier threes. So the tier ones are the players and the coaches and such. Tier twos are the kind of the staff members that can be around the players. But the crazy part is that we're going home. And so what's really important is when guys go home, their family members have to protect the players and the team and their loved ones. So it's a very interesting process, but we're not having to be stuck in a hotel in Orlando sitting there somewhere. So, we're about to go on this long plane flight, which is going to be very interesting, and I don't even know if we can see anybody when we get to, we're going to Atlanta. That's where Sierra's from, for example. We're not going to be able to probably see anybody. So, it's an interesting process.
I was thinking
Shaq wouldn't do the bubble. He'd be out doing stuff. I know you. Yeah.
It has to be difficult for the guys. I was always the type that I needed something to rise me to that next level. So, for example, during playoff time, Jack's going to be there. I don't want Jack Nicholson pissed at me. Denzel and his wife's going to be there. I don't want them pissed at me. Adam Sandler's going to be there. My family's going to be there. All the little kids in LA is going to be there watching me.
Jeff Dye's going to be there.
Yes, he's going to be there. I needed that.
Bieber.
Yeah, Bieber will be there.
I needed that to keep me going. So now that the guys don't have that, you just have to, play off sheer talent and sheer emotion. It looks like a big AAU tournament, but
that's a good point. Yeah.
But all the guys have been safe, and some of the games have been pretty good. Damian Lillard put on the show right before the playoffs, had like 5 or 6 spectacular games. The guy, Jamal Murray, just put on the show the last round when they were down 3-1. So, Lakers are down 0-1. The Bucks are down 0-3. So, the games are pretty good. I think for the role players that can't really face the pressure of the crowd, they're like playing great because there's really no pressure for them. It's actually no pressure for any of these players. This is the first no pressure playoffs because, as you know, Russell, playoffs ain't about the player; it's about the atmosphere. Seattle has pressure at home, but now they have to go to Green Bay. And if they lose the season over, that's the playoffs. Winning as somebody, the story. So, but guys don't have that. So, all the guys are playing on the same court. They're eating in the same damn cafeteria. They're walking across the same grassy knoll. So, may the best team win.
When I saw Shaq play, one thing that stood out to me is you were so sweaty. Have you ever in a game had to change your jersey from sweating too much?
No, never.
Never, not once.
No, because the more you sweat means that you're working very hard. And then,
I was a big pregame warm-up guy too. Like I like feeling the sweat, and just feeling like I've been putting the work in all day.
I pitched to Jeannie Buss. I said, when you guys hang up that Shaq statue, you should make it like a fountain. It should be a fountain and a statue. How cool would that be?
Cool.
You don't like it?
No, that's terrible. Stop it.
That'd be great.
Stop it.
Speaking of the playoffs, Shaq, what was the craziest atmosphere you ever had to play in? I think about some of the atmospheres I had to play in. Going to Green Bay last year, it was freezing cold. I remember having to go to Minnesota. We won in Minnesota. It was negative like 20, and the wind chill, it felt like negative 35 degrees or something crazy. I literally tried to talk and my tongue would freeze as I'm speaking, calling the plays. So what's the craziest atmosphere you had to play in?
So Portland was crazy. The fans are crazy. Sacramento, it was always a bunch of cowbells. But the year we played Philly in the finals, the radio station paid this crappy band to find out where my room was at. They set up a stage out there and they played Rocky all night. Bang, 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 bang.
That's amazing.
All night. So luckily, I had them big headphones and I just threw on some little R&B, went to sleep. But when I woke up, they kept playing it. So now I'm pissed. So now, okay. All right, you think it's gonna work? As soon as I get to the ring, the first play of the game, I'm elbow Dikembe Mutombo in his face, throw it down on him, and look at the crowd and let them know that Rocky will not work with me. All right.
You got to respect it, though. That's the city's defense,
Speaking of people calling the hotel, I remember when I played the Super Bowl, when we played the Broncos, the phone just kept ringing. It was nonstop. So I ended up having to unplug it. Fans were calling from the Broncos, and then we had to play Philly this year actually in the playoffs, and that's kind of similar. The Philly fans are pretty tough, so they were on it, like they were calling and everything else, and so that's a real thing, man. Just that you have to experience, and just you start figuring out the tricks of the trades and make sure people don't do that and bother you. But
you said Philly fans are tough. I mean, let's be honest. I don't have to worry about nothing. I'll just say Philly fans are awful. That's what they are. What's the worst fan base? What's the hardest fan base?
For me, or for when I played?
You guys, I want to know both.
Man, the toughest place. Man, I remember when I was young, my first year in the NFL, we had to go to Candlestick, and I remember people throwing beers and pissing on the bus and throwing stuff and just all of that, man. Just playing in Candlestick, it was historic. It was a place where you really felt the tradition of it, and they had so many guys on their defense, and it was my rookie year. I remember scrambling upside the pocket, and next thing I know, Patrick Willis and Bowman, and I had never seen two linebackers run that fast. I mean, Bobby Wagner's fast too. But I never seen somebody try to tackle me that fast. And so that's when I really realized I was in the NFL. And my first game ever in the NFL was my first game of the year. We played in Arizona Cardinals, and I got stuck right in the chest on 4th down and 14. I threw it to my teammate Charlie Martin, and I got stuck right in the sternum by Dockett, and he hit me and dug me into the ground, and he goes, welcome to the NFL, playboy, and just kind of rubbed me in. And so those are kind of the fun memories I have. But just I remember playing in that atmosphere in Candlestick. That was always tough for sure. And it was one of the toughest moments I've had to play.
My answer is different. I grew up being raised by a drill sergeant. So I've heard and seen everything. So when I went into the arena, all that stuff, it didn't hurt me. It actually made me laugh. And sometimes when I wasn't in the playing mood, I would look for something to make me mad. And whenever I shoot a free throw and people laugh, I'm like, okay, next time I come down on this end, watch this. So
you're like Jordan. That's Jordan's whole thing.
So like I always try to use stuff for motivation. I'm not really worried about it because I actually like it, because if they yelling and screaming at you, it means they respect you.
Yeah.
I see other guys that touch the ball, fans just looking and drinking soda, they're texting, but when you got the ball, they go, I mean, they know exactly who you are.
What about trash talk? You do a lot of trash talk out there?
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm talking about mothers, wives, children, whatever I got to do. And
I don't say anything. But I've talked trash 3 times in my career. Once in college, okay, that didn't go well afterwards. 2 times in the NFL, both of those plays didn't work out. So I said, you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing else because most of the guys. So what? Listen, for me, I just try to be in the zone. But you Shaq, you a lot bigger than me, man. You 7'1". I can't talk all that.
Who talks smack to you, Russ? Like, who is the guys that are chirping to you the most? Probably Richard Sherman now, but besides before that.
Yeah, I'm used to Sherm chirping, so I'm used to it. But no, it's a lot of guys. You'll have defensive linemen, talk stuff, especially when they sack you. That's a big one, And then the biggest thing is they be trying to dig into you, trying to rub your head in the dirt and all that stuff. That I'm not having that. So, but most guys try to talk stuff to get you, out of your element. But they know for me, that actually feeds me and fuels me to get focused even that much more in the midst of it all. Danger Talk is supported by DraftKings. Now is the time to celebrate. Football is finally back, and DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports, has millions of reasons why you should be excited. To kick off the football season, DraftKings is giving new users a free shot at a $1 million top prize, with a total of $3 million up for grabs for this Thursday's football contest. Getting in on Thursday's night's single game showdown is easy. All you have to do is download DraftKings using promo code DangerTalk. Draft 6 players from the season opener, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. So head to the app now to start making it rain. Plus, new users who sign up today on DraftKings using code DangerTalk will receive a free shot at the $1 million top prize with your first deposit. Nothing adds to the sweat of watching the game like having a shot at $1 million payday. Download the DraftKings app now and use code DangerTalk. For a limited time, new users can get a free shot at the $1 million top prize and $3 million in total prizes. Don't miss the extra special Week 1 bonus. Enter code DangerTalk to get a free shot at the $1 million top prize with your first deposit. That's code DangerTalk, only at DraftKings. Make it rain. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. So, Shaq, talk to me. You talking about football here. So, and playing and everything else. Did you play? I'm assuming you played football in high school, right?
Football was my love. I was actually, I'm actually a hell of a tight end. His hands are.
I'm just saying.
These hands are Odell Beckham Jr.-ish. As soon as anything touches it.
Well, and you had fast feet. You had fast feet, man. Like, you had fast feet.
So when I was in high school, I played tight end. And I think my sophomore year, we had a play called alley-oop. And you already know that goal line play. I just tell my quarterback, Joe Carlever, throw it up. He throw it up, I go catch it. And then a little twerk, same size as Justin Bieber here.
Yeah.
My damn knee.
I'm 6'4".
I sprained my MCL and I was like, I'm not playing football no more. But actually, between me and you, I wanted to be the next Tutel Jones. But what derailed that is my father came in with an article. It was a guy by the name of John Koncak. He signed a contract 15 for 3. And then I was like, football may be too rough. We may need to take up this basketball thing. And I saw that and I was like, I ain't the smartest guy in the world, but 15 divided into 3, that's $5 million a year. So
good money.
I took what I learned from football and brought it over to basketball. Because, see, I realized that basketball players don't like that physicality. So I played nose guard and I played tight end. I like bringing pain to people, so I just add a little football in my game. That's why when people are like, oh, the hacker Shaq, they're fouling you. I never felt that. I never felt that at all.
Yeah, it's just a fly on your shoulder. You just wiped it off, huh?
That's it.
That's it. So I'm just saying, if you still got some couple more, I can throw you an alley oop if you need one. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Listen, down by one Super Bowl, I'm catching that thing for you.
Speaking of your childhood, Shaq, talk to me a little bit about that. Growing up, coming through adversity, some of the things you had to go through. I know for me, growing up, I didn't have much. My parents, constantly worked and all that. I remember times where we had no water, no hot water at all, or anything like that. And so, as people are going through things, right now and everything else, but kind of walk through your childhood and just kind of how you've overcome a lot of that.
I was a medium level juvenile delinquent. Didn't have a lot. Father was strict drill sergeant. He beat into me be a leader, not a follower. I would just do kid stuff. Like if the guys want to go steal something, I do it. The guys want to go steal a car, do it. The guys want to go, partake in the cannabis activities, I'd be in a room with him. And he would just, probably he would force like, yo, you gotta be a leader, you gotta be a leader. The best thing he did was put me on punishment one time for a year. Because when
what was that like?
I couldn't leave my room for school. And after school, I had 9 minutes to get home because we lived down the street from the school. I had 9 minutes to get home. And if I didn't, I'd have to do something like rake the leaves or just like that. But while I'm in there, I start becoming a dreamer. Luckily, he gave me a TV. So I watch Yoda TV raps. I'll be like, I just saw that gold rope chain at the flea market. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to practice my rap skills. Then I see football. Man, I think I could be the next Too Tall Jones. Then I see basketball. This guy named Jordan has his own shoes, man. One day, if I could become good, I would just start dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. And then as I got older, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I could accomplish all these things. So I remember looking at a guy in high school that was ranked ahead of me, and I was like, I just bust this dude ass in the gym the other day. I was a number one player in tech. Oh, hell no. So then it just started, I just started competing with myself. I would start writing stuff down or start memorizing stuff. And then I would just, go for that goal at a time. Like one guy in my school scored 30 points. That was the highest everybody had ever scored in my school. It was like, ooh. And I was like, 30? I got, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm 17 years old. If I can get 35, then I'm gonna be the man at the school. Like I would just start doing little stuff. And then things started turning around. Like I was like, my dad did tell me if I become a leader and stay out of trouble, I can become anything I want. And then next thing I know, I'm 15 years old. Cole's O'Neal, the best in the U.S. Oh my God, I'm a McDonald's All-American. Oh my God, Dick Vitale knows my name. Oh my God, I'm going to the McDonald's All-American. Oh, they got a couple guys from New York that's better than me. Oh, you better than me? Watch this. Oh my God, I'm the McDonald's MVP. Oh my God, I'm going to LSU. They already got 2 guys there. Well, I don't care who's there. I'm going to play. Oh my God, I'm going to be the first pick. So as I start saying to myself, okay, put something in your mind and just go achieve. You know what you got to do. You've been raised well. You're going to stay true. So it's all about hard work and persevere. And everything that I put my mind to, it came true. Because I come from, I don't know about you, Russ, but I didn't have coordination. I couldn't run. I couldn't jump. My story is not like a LeBron or Kobe or, all these guys that ever since 8 years old, they've been great players. No, I didn't become good to my junior year. So it's just hard work, a lot of criticism, a lot of people beating me up. And then one day I just said, you know what? If this guy can make 15 for 3, at least I can get if he can make $5 million a year, I could probably make $3 million a year. And my goal coming out of high school was to make $80 million for 10 years. And I already had it all set up what I was going to do. I was going to buy a $300,000 house. I was going to buy a Jimmy Blazer, and I was going to buy a Mercedes Benz. And I was
top down, or what?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was. I think back then it was a 560 SEC. Yeah. But looking back, I'm glad my mother and father disciplined me the way that they did. I'm glad that I was able to move around from city to city. I'm glad I was able to be on teams because, those things teach you a lot, especially when it, comes to life. Like people always say, how do you got 70 commercials, you got 50 business. How do you do that? It's easy. It's called delegation. And you know about delegation. You're the leader, but you call a play, you throw it to the receiver, you got to get 15 yards. So if I want to run a business, I'm just going to get somebody that knows how to operate and run the business, do a partnership with them, make sure I understand what they're doing, and that's how things get done in my world.
That's how I treated homework in high school. I delegated it to someone else, and then they did it for me.
Me too. The statute of limitations should be up on it now.
You should be good there. But, you said something that I think was really profound, and I think something that I really relate to, because for my mom and my dad, they raised me under this idea around discipline and making sure that, for me, even being, even being, young African-American kid in Richmond, Virginia, you have an opportunity to set yourself apart in the sense of how you work and how you go about your business and how you treat people. And I think one of the big things for me was we didn't have much, so I had to create my own vision. I believe to be great in anything, you got to be a visionary. You got to dream about it. You got to think about it. You got to talk about it. You got to write about it. You got to have that passion about it. And if you don't have that, it's really hard to capture it, and it's really hard to make somebody else believe in you if you don't have that. And so for me, I had to do that. I had to find that every day, and so I used to write sticky notes on my wall, and every time somebody, you can't do this, can't do that, I read that sticky note, I write it down, boom, put it there. And I would just visualize overcoming. I would just visualize success. I still do that today. And so for me, it's really about, okay, somebody says I can't do it. All right, I'm gonna show you different. I'm gonna show you a different way to do it. And I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. I think that was a big part of, why I'm here today. Everybody said I couldn't be in the NFL, obviously, being smaller and everything else. And I think for me, I wanted to create my own legacy, my own terms. I wanted to set my own tone. And, I was going to, my head coach, back when I was in college, my freshman year was going to move me to safety, and I just said, no. I went home, prayed about it, wrote it out. I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be freshman All-American. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play in the NFL for 10 plus years. I'm going to do this, that. And I wrote it all out for him. I told him, I said, this is what I'm going to do. This is who I am. And I think that's a big part of, overcoming. I even think with everything else going on in America and the world right now, and COVID and everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter and people getting, murdered on the street and everything else that's going on, I think it's really important to still have a vision. In the midst of everything, how do we create vision for our young ones, for our children, for our kids, for our loved ones? Is we have to be able to create that vision, because with no vision, there's no direction. And I think that's really key in the midst of it all.
And to add on to what you said, you should always have somebody that you love more than you love yourself.
Yeah, that's good.
For me, I didn't want to let my mother down. And I want to walk on any neighborhood and say, Mom, pick one. So this is how I bought a house for my mother. So when I got to Orlando, told my mom, I said, quit. She said, baby, I don't want to quit. I want you to support me. I said, this is not a conversation. You work for me now. Quit. What are you going to do? We'll do a fan club. Quit. My father, retired from the military, he quit. So when we first got to Orlando, we all stayed in a hotel. I said, I'm going to get a house first, and I'm going to get you a house. So we go all around all the neighborhoods, but I'm telling the realtor we need to find some 6-7 bedroom for them. So, we get to a house. It's 900,000. It's beautiful. Got the media room. Got the theater. You got the pool.
Everything.
You got everything, right? And I asked my mom. I said, "You like this house?" She's like, "Yeah, it's pretty big. It's not." I said, "It's yours." She's like, "What do you mean it's yours?" I just gave her the key. She said, "Babe, yeah." I said, "Mom, it's already paid for." So the best feeling for me was to be able to go to the bank and write $999,000 on the check, pay for the house. And say, "Here you go, this house." So that was because it was just a thank you, and all the stuff she would tell me was coming true. But you're right. I used to just say, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. But I never wanted to let my mom and dad down, because they used to work so hard to, buy me a pair of Georgetown Hoya Nikes, which, cost $100. So they just used to do so much for me.
Well, speaking of buying your mom a house, I bought my mom a house recently, a couple of years ago, a year and some change ago. And the funny thing is, it's a very similar situation. When I was growing up, we we didn't have much. We used to go looking at houses. And back in the day, you could go into a house and just walk into it. And I would go in, give the thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever it would be. And then realizing, nowadays you got to have an appointment for everything and everything. So I told my mom, my sister, I said, go around, let's go around the city and just try to find different places to find. Sure enough, I found this one place online, and we ended up going to it. And she fell in love with it. So I had to trick my mom. It was on Mother's Day. I said, Mom, sorry, listen, that house got sold. But yeah, so I told my mom, I said, Mom, that house got sold, but the builder, he says he got a couple of other houses down the street. So sure enough, we pull out, get out the car, right? And she's like, well, where's the builder? I said, Mom, here are your keys. And she started peeing down her leg. She was so excited. But yeah, you got to look out for the loved ones, and I think as parents too, for me, having 3 kids and stuff like that, it's super important that we feed into our children and everything else and all that. So I think in the midst of everything going on in 2020, it's important to make sure that we're doing that.
I'm having trouble identifying with buying my mom a house. I have, though, bought them dinners and things like that just to chime in. I say, hey, pick any appetizer, you pick any entree, Jeffy's got you.
You're on your way. You're on your way.
I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy.
Monday, Jeffy.
So speaking of everything else going on in 2020, that's obviously been a tough year, Shaq, just in general. And I think for all of us listeners, obviously we love, you and just what you mean to everyone. I think, in the midst of 2020, I remember sitting, standing, we're getting ready for the Pro Bowl, about to play the game. I'm in the locker room, about to do the team prayer and everything else, and about to pray for all the fellas. And there's the greatest players, in the NFL in the locker room. And next thing you know, they tell us about Kobe, and every guy start crying. I start tearing up. Everybody, and we just start praying about it. And I never seen in the midst of a moment everybody freeze, especially men. That many men in one moment, and the connection. And obviously, you got to play with them, but just. Can you talk about just, one, where you were, but also just, the type of player that he was, the type of, person, what he meant to the world, and just everything else. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, the night before, I know LeBron broke a scoring record. So the next day, I'm training my son. One of my older sons comes to me with the phone crying. And I said, what the hell wrong with you? He couldn't say it. He said, look. There was a TMZ article. And my heart just stopped for a second, and a tear automatically came. I was like, then I'm saying to myself, this is the internet. It can't be true. It's the internet. It has to be the internet. And then my ex-wife called me crying. Everybody called me crying. And I called Charles. I said, Charles, is it true? He said, yeah, it's true. And then I just, I was upset because we never really talked a lot. Probably should have. But I was always the type, Russ, I'm going to go do my job and then I'm coming home. I got family. I know you got family. I don't want to bother you. I know you got, I'm not going to, you need me, you call me. I was always that guy. And, a lot of people thought we had a really bad relationship. No, we had a respectable relationship. Respectable enough to win 3 in a row. Do we agree on stuff all the time? Nope. But who does? The Beatles didn't agree on stuff. The Brady Bunch didn't agree on stuff. But, sometimes you have to focus on the relationship or the task. I'm focusing on the task.
Yeah.
He was focusing on the task. So, but, the respect was always there. I was just upset that I could never say anything to him again. Last time I saw him it was either the game where I asked him to get 50 and he got 60, or the interview we did for TNT. That was the last time I saw him. But he always kept in touch with my kids. He always took care of them because ever since they were little, they know him as Uncle Shaq. Mm-hmm. And you know that the locker room stuff never feeds out into the real world. But he was a guy that wanted to be great at 17. We used to have to slow him down, but he wanted to be great right away. He wanted to take the last shots. Like, I'm 17, I'm here, but you want me to shoot it, I'll shoot it. So we knew he had it in him. And he did it his own way. He did it at his own pace. For this generation, he's probably their guy. For my generation, it was Dr. J and Magic But probably for your generation, probably Jordan and all those guys. But for this generation, Kobe was that guy. So a lot of people.
Yeah, I love watching, Kobe because just the clutch shots that he had. He had no fear, when he had the ball in his hand, and he worked for everything. He had the talent. Some people just wake up with the talent, and he had that, but he also worked for it. And I think that was always something that from growing up and watching a guy like him and being around, and the couple times I was able to be around him, he always seemed to have that. And so, if you could say one thing to him now in the midst of everything, if you could have one other opportunity to say something, what would you say?
There's a picture going on. I said this on TNT a couple weeks ago. There's a picture that somebody made of an old Kobe and an old me. I just wish that could be true. Wish that from 20 years from now, I got my gray beard, he got his gray beard. We could just sit and talk about grandchildren, about times and all that. That's the only thing I wish. I never really, like I said, after the games and after the seasons, we never really talked a lot. That's how I've always been. But if I could do it now, we'll just shoot the breeze, brother. Just talk about what's going on.
Shaq, if I could say one last thing to Kobe, I would say thank you for the father you were. To the young girls that you were able to raise and to love and to show them what work ethic was like, what grace and joy was like. I would say thank you for that. You really were able to teach me from a distance that being a father is one of the greatest gifts in the world. You may be able to have an amazing fadeaway shot. You may be able to throw the ball a long, long way. You may be able to do so many things that the world's never seen. But the thing that the world really needs is fathers like you, people who could lead and love. And Shaq, I know that you have your kids, and I know Kobe, for you. Thank you, man. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for who you were. Thank you for what you stood for. Thank you for how you loved your children and how you loved V. And just despite it all, despite all the success and everything else, you're an amazing dad first. And that's helped change my life. That's helped show me the way in so many different ways on how to love my children. And I know, our kids get to be around each other. And, I know BB and Sienna get to spend so much time together when they can. And just, I'm grateful for just who you were, what you stood for. And your legacy is going to forever live on. And everything that you've done, from Granity Studios to the amazing books that you wrote, and so many things you won, not just on the court, but off the court. There's no one like you. There's no one like you. And, Mamba mentality is real. You're able to mean so much, not only to myself, but the rest of the world. And I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for what you stood for. Thank you for the father that you were. And if I could say one last thing to you, that's what I would say. So thank you, Kobe. Thank you, man. Whew. As we transition, that was heavy. And, just like I said, Shaq, and, thanks for opening up your heart about that. And Kobe, just thanks for everything you've done. As we think about the season coming up, football season's back. It's 2020 and it's been a crazy year. Shaq, who's your favorite teams? Like, who are you rooting for? Like, do you have a team in the NFL you watch?
Cowboys.
Cowboys, really? Okay.
Yes.
Why the Cowboys?
Because, like I said, when I was young, I wanted to be a two-toe Jones. So I'm not one of these guys that whoever's hot, jump on the back. I'm a Cowboys fan. Everybody knows this. No disrespect to you and all the other greats, but I'm ride or die Cowboys. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. I wanted to be the next Ed Two-Toe Jones. He's a fraternity brother of mine. I met him. One of my dreams come true. I met Ed Two-Toe Jones, the first guy who I wanted to be like. And then the second guy who I wanted to be like was Dr. J. So I'm a Cowboy.
You're a diehard Cowboy fan. Okay, so when we play the Cowboys this year, I'm gonna make sure that I call you or text you and talk. You want some trash talk? I'm gonna give you some trash talk.
There you go.
Okay. Ezekiel, do you hear that? Ezekiel, you hear this?
So who do you got in this first game? You got Kansas City. You got Mahomes. First of all, young star, one of the highest paid the highest paid player in the NFL. Now you got Deshaun Watson, the second highest paid player. We got the three, which is actually interesting here. We got three black quarterbacks, actually the highest paid players in the NFL, which is amazing in itself. Patrick Mahomes is number one, Deshaun Watson number two. I'm fortunately number three, fortunately. But when you think about that, when you got Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, who you got in this first game coming tomorrow night?
I've never been jealous of a man ever. I'm jealous of Patrick.
All that money, huh?
Yeah, no, they all the money. I'm just happy for him, happy for his family. But I would love to have that title for me. Shaq is the first $500 million guy. But listen, Super Bowl champ, young fella, I'm happy for him.
For sure.
Wish him well. Deshaun Watson. And then I know how you guys like to compete because, we all compete the same. Deshaun probably saying, okay, you got 500. I know I just signed a new deal, but my coming up in 2 or 3 years. 600. So I know how guys think. So I'm going to have to go with, and I don't know. I don't want to sound disrespectful because I'm a Dak guy. So it ain't really Dak. Not really paying attention, but Patrick versus Deshaun, I'm gonna go with Deshaun's team.
Okay, you going to the nearby team in Houston. Okay, I got you.
Let's just say hypothetically, I have $30,000 on Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. Is that a good bet or a bad bet? Hypothetically,
you gotta ask Charles Barkley. I don't know.
All right, fair enough.
So obviously we got the first thing happening here, the first part of the season, everything going on in 2020. You talked about you being a police officer, all of that too. I think that's pretty fascinating because all the stuff going on in America. We got the first game, national anthem, everything going on, but just what you've done, your legacy, Shaq. I guess what I'm trying to say is your legacy is more than just the game. From the music that you love and being a DJ, which we haven't even talked about yet, which is fascinating itself. But you being a DJ, then all the way to all the other amazing things you've done in acting and everything else. But talk to me about just what you do in the community, as with the police force and all that.
So one of my punishment assignments by my father was from A to Z, right? What you want to be. So A, athlete. B, businessman. C, cop. D, DJ. E, entrepreneur. F, fireman. H, highway patrolman. So,
wow.
I always wanted to be a sheriff. I always wanted to have my own county, have my own people, because when I was coming up, the police in the neighborhoods were real close. You had guys on foot patrol. They were respected in the neighborhood. Like, Miss Johnson could be like, Officer Russ, the kids around the corner spray painting stuff. Can you go talk to him? Officer Russ come around, come here. Next time I catch you doing this, I'm gonna take it out. You know what I'm saying? It was like a respect thing. Somehow it's far away now, really far, too far. So when I was in LA, I went to the local sheriff and I said, hey, I want to learn. So he gave me a badge, took a picture. I came back the next day. I said, I don't want you to give me nothing. I want to earn it. So I went to a full-fledged police academy in LA and became a detective out there. Did some patrol out there. Then I got
what year is this?
This was actually when we was winning. I started in 98.
Oh, crazy.
98, 99. Cause see there, you got to do reserve academy. So in LA, there's, the first qualification you go through, which is many hours, you have security guard status. Then there's level 3. Then there's level 2. Level 2, you're a full-fledged police officer, but you have to deal with another police officer. I went all the way to level 1, which means I could ride in the car by myself. I have full police power. So it took me 4 years to, get through all those academies. But I just wanted to, because when you run for sheriff, it's an elected position. I know I'm gonna win because I'm Shaq. But now when I get in that locker room, my guys ain't gonna respect me. So I want them to see that I know the same thing that they see. I went to the same training that they know, and that I'm really serious about it. So that's why I did it. So when I'm retired, I'm gonna run for sheriff.
Nice.
Amazing.
You know what I like? I was gonna say, so I spend a lot of time. My father figure in my life is Terry Bradshaw, and I hang out with him all the time. And one thing I want to tell you, it's not even the question. It's just like it seems like you love life. Like every time, I feel like you're doing life the most fun. I feel like everything you do is. I feel like that's your legacy. We're talking about your legacy, but like I feel like you just always seem to be enjoying yourself, no matter where you're at or what you're doing.
Because about 15 years ago, I figured how to deal with stress. And I call it 5-finger stress relief. So for me, it's my mother comes first, then it's my children, then it's my boys, my little gang that people that work for me on with, and then it's myself. So I don't even get the 5. So if it ain't one of these 4 things, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Twitter comments or Instagram comments. I don't worry about culture. No, because I did the right thing. I made a name for myself. And it's an honor for a kid that has never seen me play say, hey, can I take a picture? It's an honor for the great Russell Wilson to say, hey, I can be talking to anybody as the first guest. I'd say I'm lucky. And 2, I always try to, remain humble. And if you're happy, if you do happy things, you get happy results. That's why I always try to live my life. I don't act like I'm bigger and better than you because I make more money. I don't like bragging about what I got on social media. I use my social media 60% to make you laugh, 30% to inspire you, and 10% to sell you what I'm selling. Like I don't really like the guys, look at my $38 million mansion. Or look, I just bought 50 cars. Or look, I'm putting money on. I don't really like that, especially now with 40 million people losing their jobs. It ain't my job to be disrespectful and rub what I got in your face. So the fact that you said I love life, I'm lucky, I'm blessed. And, the only way for me to keep that is just to remain humble.
Well, I think that's a beautiful way to sum up the show. And I think, for this season, to start off Danger Talk with season 1, episode 1, with the one and only Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, Sheriff, Shaq, whatever nicknames you want to go by. It's an honor and a pleasure. And, you are the epitome of getting the most out of life, the most out of yourself and what God's giving you. And I'm just grateful just to be on this show with you, even though you are picking. Are you picking the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl?
I am always.
Okay. Every year.
Like I said, I'm gonna call you. I don't know what week it is. I'm picking the Seahawks if I have to pick, just so you know. But
I am too. Seattle every year.
Because I got a lot of friends, celebrity friends, that when I was playing, they're Laker fans. Now they're Miami Heat fans, their fans, Golden State fans. I can't switch up. Cowboys. I'm sorry. Dennis Smith, Neon Dion, Michael Irvin,
Jerry Jones.
Has some good ones for sure. But obviously, this is a pleasure to have you on the show. Talking all the way from all the amazing things you've done to 2020 as a whole, and just how it's been tough, but how to overcome. Just having a vision. You gave me a lot of nuggets. And what was that 5-finger stress thing? What was that called again?
My mother.
4 fingers.
My kids, my guys, my gang, and myself.
I love that.
Only worry about what these people think about me.
I had somebody once say one thing that's kind of similar to that. They said, on your hand, you can only give 100% to everything. And so very similar to that was, number one, your faith, your wife, your family, right? Your community, right? The game, and ultimately yourself. So very similar to that. So I love that, man. Just we can only give 100% to what we truly love, and that's what we should. And that alleviates a lot of stress. And you all the way from your DJ career and more We're gonna close this out with one of your songs too. But thanks, Shaq. Thank you for joining us. Jeff Dye, my co-host. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Shaq.
You are opening the season the right way, and hopefully the Seahawks get a big win this week. And I can't wait to watch the game tomorrow. Thank you, Shaq, for coming on the show and being a part of the family. And thanks for signing that jersey from my mom, by the way. She teared up later, so she don't cry very often. So appreciate you.
No problem. All right, Jeff.
Hey, appreciate you.
All
right, appreciate you, Shaq. That was the one and only Shaquille O'Neal joining the show. I got to read you guys this list here of Shaquille O'Neal's accolades here, just so you guys can read them. First of all, just so you know. First of all, career highlights. This man who just joined us, he was Shaquille O'Neal, Naismith Memorial. He's a Hall of Fame basketball player, obviously in 2016, 4-time NBA champion, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, 1-time NBA MVP in 2000, 15-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA scoring champion, NBA Rookie of the Year, 2-time consensus first-team All-American, and McDonald's All-American MVP as well. Played with Orlando Magic, Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics. Has investments in Krispy Kreme. Big Shaq eating Krispy Kreme. Does so much. Five Guys, Auntie Annie's, Papa John's restaurants. I mean, I don't know how the guy does it all. And he's gonna be a sheriff. He's police helping everybody. I mean, DJ. There's nobody better to have on Danger Talk episode 1. And Shaq, grateful for you. Thanks for joining. And super grateful. Danger Talk, we're out. That was a blast.